Okay. I made a mistake. In my last video, I made an argument for Apotheosis Veil being the best pick for Broodweaver DPS, and turns out I was gravely mistaken. What most comments pointed out is that if the majority of your super projectiles hit, you get a large chunk of your grenade back anyway, drastically reducing the merit of Apotheosis Veil. Despite my previous argument being invalid, I still want to discover the true most optimal exotic for Broodweaver DPS. So, Apotheosis Veil is now out of the window. What's left? Well, I've compiled a list of potential candidates and I'll go into detail for each as to why it may be worth running or not. Let's start with Ophidian Aspect, shall we? As we all should know, Ophidian Aspect enhances the stats of our weapons, granting plus 35 handling and reload speed and plus 10 airborne effectiveness, but the airborne boost is irrelevant here. However, the benefits granted are essentially the same as the ones given by Thread of Ascent, which provides 30 handling, 40 reload speed, a 0.925x reload animation scalar, and plus 30 airborne effectiveness for 15 seconds after throwing your grenade, which you will pretty much always have constant uptime on from having so many grenades. It should be noted that Ophidians and Thread of Ascent do stack, but it's a little overkill since, for example, if you're using Apex Predator, which with a handling masterwork has 69 handling, becoming 99 handling with Thread of Ascent, you've got to be desperate to squeeze out that 1 point of handling. But I won't be one to stop you. Alright, so this puts Ophidians out of the picture. What about Necrotic Grips? First, we need to see how much the poison dot ticks for. So here on this boss Hydra, we deal 64,245 damage in 10 seconds, giving it a DPS value of 6,425. So, it is a solid option, adding on a bit of extra DPS, though it does come with the restriction of only one player being able to use this, since targets can only be affected by one instance of poison at a time. Okay, how about Swarmers? They're probably the obvious choice at first glance, until you realise you can fulfill their whole functionality with a melee attack. Swarmers cause your threadlings to unravel targets, but so does your melee, so no DPS advantage to be seen here. What about Eye of Another World? I bet you forgot about this one. Eye grants additional grenade melee class ability regeneration, meaning if you have tier 10 discipline, your threadling grenade will now recharge in 1 minute instead of 1 minute 16 seconds. And to be honest, it actually isn't a bad pick. It lets your nade come back a little faster, so definitely one to consider. But we're not done. The last exotic we could consider is Verity's Brow, which in the right circumstances absolutely demolishes all the other exotics mentioned previously. Its exotic perk, the fourth magic, grants increasing grenade regeneration rate and damage on energy weapon kill matching your subclass, up to a maximum increase of 250% regen and 100% damage. The other, lesser known half of the perk, Feel the Flame, grants nearby allies 10 times Yes, 10 times grenade regeneration speed for 5 seconds. You might be thinking, it's only 5 seconds, why bother? Well, like I previously mentioned, if you have two warlocks running Verities, they can both feed each other the 10 times regen rate, which in turn allows them to continuously feed it to their entire team. But here's the catch. Each warlock must continue getting energy weapon kills every 8 to 10 seconds of the DPS phase in order to maintain their stack of death throws, otherwise the buff is gone. In the context of Strand Warlock, if you can get this buff going consistently, it's absolutely fantastic since you will never run out of grenades, all of which are dealing double damage. Though it would actually be better suited for Solar Warlocks, since the enhanced fusion grenades they get from Touch of Flame will eventually outdamage a Needle Storm and however many Threadling grenades you can throw. On the same boss Hydra, a Threadling grenade hits for 34,557, and a Touch of Flame fusion grenade for 76,386. So with death throws times 5, these will be 69,114 and 152,772 respectively. So yes, amazing exotic, but perhaps not best suited for Strand Warlock. Not to mention, it's also somewhat difficult to proc in most encounters, since the availability of adds during DPS isn't always an option, and Strand weapons occupy the kinetic slot, meaning you're giving up more valuable picks like Izzy or Witherhoard. Also, just quickly, if you're keen to know more in depth about Verity's Brow, the YouTuber Aegis has an excellent video on it. Okay, so looking back at what we've discussed, solely from a DPS perspective, it's clear that for solo play or in an unoptimized LFG, Necrotic Grips are probably your best bet with the free DPS they provide. But if you're in a stacked team with Verity's Brow, it's likely more optimal, given the encounter allows for its use. You can use Eye of Another World or Ophidians if you're that keen, but definitely not Apotheosis Veil. Just a quick note on future content. From now on, I will do my best to conduct more thorough research and testing to ensure my conclusions are not incomplete, like in my last video. Thanks for watching, guys.